If you have followed me for any length of time, you will have realized that I'm a tad obsessed with who we are, fundamentally speaking, of course. I am constantly thinking about our origin, our essence, and why we are here. And I'm also acutely aware that I frequently make people uneasy because I often stare, without realizing it, into the eyes, the windows on the soul, to see who they are beyond the vehicle they're driving, maybe searching for a reflection of myself, recognizing consciousness, inwardly asking, who are you beyond the physical appearance? And that same question returning, who am I? Now, contrary to what science tells us, there are those who insist that death is not the end, that there's something on the other side, something we lost, and maybe something we are but forgot, an essence that is radically different to what we are told to believe. Now, in this first part of this final look in this series on the mechanics of the trap, we go further than ever before, past the ruse, past the memory wipe, circumventing the lies and the manipulations, to take a bold look at what the mystics, near-death experiencers, and awakened souls have glimpsed beyond the veil, a realm that is our true origin, not just a paradise, but a wholeness, a sense of perfect presence, the source itself. Some call it our forgotten home. Others say it's the real world. And yet others, it's us before the fracture. Probably a combination of all three. Now, I'm not one who likes to stay within boundaries, but enjoy crossing lines. I like to probe deep. That didn't come out right. I like to investigate beyond the hologram. It's better. Beyond the veil, beyond the cleverly constructed game of birth, life, death, and recycling, and into the mystery that calls to us from somewhere else. Not a place we go to, but a truth that's like an itch that you want to scratch. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't believe what lies beyond is a throne in the sky or a reward for good behavior, or the opposite. I think it's the unfiltered reality of what we've always been, a spark of infinite awareness, a sovereign intelligence, a fractal of source itself, before the fragmentation, before the manipulation, and before the mask we are forced to wear. This existence is designed to hide the truth with all kinds of sleight of hand maneuvers. The system tells us we are small and insignificant. It tells us we originate here, that this is all there is. But deep down, many have always felt it, that hum or vibration beneath all the distracting noise, that pull towards something familiar, something vast, something authentic, unlike everything we find here in the trap. This is an inauthentic reality. Gnostics describe it as an inversion of the pleroma, or the real, inherently flawed. Some who've broken free say they had a eureka moment, while others say they became whole again, as if waking up from a dream and remembering not just where they came from, but what they truly are. This episode is about those moments, those revelations, the murmurs from the other side, and what they tell us about the home we forgot and the essence we've always been. We'll walk with those who claim to have broken free and remember what exists on the other side. And we'll ask, could it be true? Could the soul be more ancient, more immense, more sovereign than we've ever been led to believe. Imagine. Well then, let's find out, because I'm the grumpy grandpa. Concerning these glimpses of the beyond, here's the question. Who saw what? Well, we have near-death experiences for one, or NDEs, and the false light controversy. As we saw in the previous video, many NDEs report being greeted by beings of light, shown a life review, and then encouraged to return. But a growing number of experiencers claim they were shown something else, a deception, a recycling system, a trap. Yet a few of these same individuals say they went further, beyond the trap. They refused the light, ignored the beings, and traveled inward or outward. Doesn't really matter. I think it was a dimensional change. But whatever it was into a space so vast, so calm, so loving, it defies words. So what is it they sensed beyond the trap? It wasn't a mansion in heaven, no angels or saints, but something quieter, something deeper. Many describe a oneness without identity, a feeling of recognition as if waking from a long, heavy dream, a presence that doesn't speak but remembers you, and a profound grief when they had to leave. This may be what the Gnostics called pleroma, or what some contactees call the higher density realm. And the one thing that stands out, that gives it a sense of authenticity, is that this is not a place of hierarchy, as it is here in the trap, but a reunion, a place where fractured selves rejoin. Several experiencers describe an unfolding when they reach the edge of the system, as if layers of their soul reassemble, not just memories, but other aspects of themselves, versions that had been scattered across lives and across lifetimes. They say when we entered the trap, we were whole, a radiant being of light, of knowing, of presence. But something happened when we passed through it, something violent, something traumatic. We broke, not just metaphorically, but energetically, consciously, existentially. And we didn't just forget who we were, we actually lost parts of ourselves along the way. Does this resonate with you? It does me. This is the deeper story of soul fragmentation and the long process of becoming whole again. So, what is soul fragmentation? Well, it's the idea that our essence or our consciousness can fracture through trauma, manipulation, or intentional suppression. It's not just emotional pain that gets buried, it's actual shards of self-awareness, energetic splinters, if you like, lost pieces of ourselves. These fragments may get stuck in traumatic timelines or lifetimes, be buried deep in the subconscious, split off, and become autonomous subpersonalities, or even be harvested and used by parasitic entities. In shamanic traditions, this is understood as the soul leaving parts of itself behind in places where extreme pain, fear, or shock occurred. In soul trap theory, it may go further. Fragmentation is engineered, a way to keep us forgetful, broken, and unable to leave. And looking at humanity, you have to admit that there is something deeply wrong with us. Why are there psychopaths in the world, sociopaths, narcissists, and all the other kinds of psychological and personality disorders? Is it because of this soul fragmentation? So how does the trap cause this shattering? Now, here's where it gets a little gritty. The soul trap isn't just a system of recycling. It's a method of splitting. We have the incarnation trauma. Each time we're funneled into a new life, we're not just starting over. The violent severing from our full awareness at birth, the memory wipe, can tear the soul's integrity. It's like downloading a tiny copy of yourself into a meat suit, while the rest stays somewhere else. And through this, repeated lifetime damage occurs. Life cycle after life cycle of trauma, betrayal, war, powerlessness, and abandonment takes its toll. Each time we cope by pushing pain away, we may be fracturing more of ourselves until the soul is splintered into so many survival-based fragments that we no longer remember the original self. Then there is the intentional splitting by manipulators. Some traditions, especially in Gnostic and esoteric teachings, suggest that certain non-physical entities feed on our fragmentation. The more broken and confused we are, the easier we are to control. So fragmentation isn't just a side effect, it's part of the mechanism of the trap. So how do we reunite? Well, the great work and the hope is that the soul fragments can be reclaimed. And this is the process of soul retrieval or reunification. And it happens through deep inner work and sometimes mystical intervention. The first key is realizing that parts of us are missing. It may feel like chronic emotional pain with no clear cause, or a sense that something inside me is missing, a void, memories that seem just out of reach, habits of self-sabotage or emotional numbness. In some traditions, the lost parts are kind of invited home through inner healing, and there are numerous ways to do that, through shamanic journeyings or meditation. That's interesting in and of itself. And through trauma healing and shadow work, and through asking the higher self, the oversoul, to show us what was lost. Does this work? There are those who say it does. They tell us that these fragments return with abilities such as intuition, emotional sensitivity, memories, and a new strength. But they must be welcomed without judgment. Each fragment holds pain, yes, but also a piece of the puzzle. All these methods are videos in and of themselves, way beyond the limits of this episode. And the final step, reported by some mystics and experiencers, is a kind of homecoming. The fractal soul, having reclaimed enough of itself, begins to merge again with the greater self, the oversoul, or even source. This is the return to wholeness, to the state we knew before the fall, before the trap, before the great lie. So why does it matter now? As the trap weakens and more people awaken, this process is accelerating. Memories are surfacing. Dreams feel more real than waking life. Emotional echoes from lifetimes long ago rise to the surface. And this is not random. This is the soul recalling its parts back together. And the more we remember, the harder it is for the system to hold us. Completeness is a threat to the trap, because a unified soul cannot be manipulated. There is something incredibly important happening today, something hard to put into words, but impossible to deny. A growing number of people across cultures, beliefs, age groups, and backgrounds are reporting the same thing. I feel like I'm waking up from something, like a long, strange dream. Now, they might not use words like soul trap, oversoul, or incarnation trauma, but they know something isn't right within. Something wrong with this reality. And more importantly, they're beginning to remember that they aren't what this reality says they are. This awakening, often spontaneous and often messy, is beginning to accelerate. So what can we likely compare this to? Maybe a dreamer stirring mid-dream. The classic Gnostic metaphor is life here is a kind of sleep, and awakening isn't about gaining new knowledge. It's about remembering what was always true. The dreamer doesn't usually wake up all at once, though some do. At first there are just ripples, strange feelings, hints of another reality. Then comes the tension. What is this place? Why am I here? Eventually there's that grasp of realization. Wait, this isn't who I am. Just like in dreams, when we begin to question the setting, we begin to reclaim control, often slowly. It's like a fractured mirror beginning to reassemble. Imagine a mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, each one reflecting only a fragment of the whole. That's us. Fragmented selves, scattered through trauma, time, and belief systems. But the pieces are pulling together now. Each person who awakens becomes a shard turning back towards the whole. The more we remember, the clearer the reflection becomes. It's like a prisoner remembering the door was never locked. This concept might be important in the soul trap concept, and there might be more to this than even I realized. Many awakening souls report the same eerie insight. The cage was mental. The bars were made of belief. The lock was made of fear. The guard was made of amnesia. And now people are discovering the key was always inside them. And this doesn't mean the system isn't real. It means its power depends on ignorance. And when that ignorance dissolves, so does the control. Remember what I've been saying. It's not where you're at, it's what you believe, the importance of which might be more far-reaching than I ever thought. Maybe the awakening is happening because souls are reconnecting with their other lives. Many people are spontaneously remembering past lives, having emotionally charged dreams with unknown settings, feeling intense grief, longing or joy with no clear basis. These are symptoms of soul-level reconnection, as if the firewall is glitching, failing. It's not just about healing from this life anymore. It's about gathering the whole self. And here's another focus I have considered in previous episodes. If this is a simulation, and this is where belief comes into play, the program is overwriting itself from within, through belief. If the trap is a program, then awakening is a kind of code rewrite from the inside. We're the virus in the system, the glitch that remembers it isn't just a script. The more people awaken, the more the system stutters. In this context, it isn't destruction, it's evolution. We're not just getting out, we're changing the game. Why now? This is the big question. Why are so many people waking up now? Is the system weakening? Maybe through its own overreach? Maybe humanity has reached a vibrational tipping point. Enough suffering has created a pressure that cracks the shell. Overreach is something we are familiar with in this reality. A greed for power could trigger it, or a lust for control. How many of us were traumatized by the COVID overreach of governments? We the people reached a point where we say, enough. Or it could be cosmic or astrological cycles. Think in terms of yugas or Gnostic aeons. They may be turning. It's what cycles do. Or maybe it was always part of the deeper plan, a cosmic jailbreak timed for this moment. Whatever the cause, one thing is clear. The veil is thinning, and more people are remembering what they've always been. We'll continue these musings in part 2 of Looking Beyond. So join me the next time for more cheerful, miserable insights from the Grumpy Grandpa.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Grumpy Old Buggers channel, so I can get some peace and quiet.